Hi, it's Katrina! From ancient lost tombs no one was looking for to the Elixir of Immortality, here are 9 mysterious archaeological discoveries. Number 9. Mysterious stone carvings. Last year, archaeologists working on the Orkney archipelago's mainland off the Scottish coast discovered 9 strange stone carvings estimated to be around 4,000 years old. The mysterious 1.6-foot tall objects, which are thought to date back to about 2000 BC, resemble humanoid figures. Carved from stone, they almost look like figures with large bodies, a neck, and a small head. They were found inside a hearth within a box-shaped burial structure in the modern-day settlement of Finnstown, while archaeologists checked out the site of a planned electrical substation. This ancient structure consists of 2 hearths and a ring of holes filled with broken stones. A statement from the Orkney Research Center for Archaeology, or ORCA, explained that the placement of the artifacts within the hearth demonstrates their importance, although their actual purpose is unknown. They were important enough to incorporate into the hearths and into the structure itself, and people weren't known for decorating much back then. One possibility, according to the statement, is that they were used to anchor ropes that held the building's roof in place. Another unanswered question is whether these sculptures were crafted to look like humans or if they were meant to represent something else. While some are very human-like in shape, others are more plain. In the words of Colin Richards from the University of the Highlands and Islands Archaeology Institute, it is very rare to find representations of people in prehistoric Orkney, and when found, they are usually individual or in very small groups. If they are figurines, to find 9 figures within one structure is very exciting. Number 8. Royal Armageddon Tomb. For nearly 5,000 years, the ancient city of Megiddo held an important place along international trade and military routes. Located in what is now northern Israel, it was the site of numerous extremely important historical battles that occurred between 3000 BC and 1918, earning the city the nickname of Armageddon, which is derived from Har Megiddo, or Hill of Megiddo. In March 2018, researchers announced the discovery of a 3,600-year-old royal tomb at the site, offering never-before-seen evidence of what life there was like for those who ruled before the Egyptian Empire conquered Megiddo during the 15th century BC. The burial dates back to sometime between 1700 and 1600 BC, during the Middle Bronze Age, and before the dynasty collapsed to the forces of the Egyptian pharaoh Thutmose. Archaeologists who have been working at the site since 1994 and who have unearthed numerous impressive artifacts and structures are nevertheless stunned by the burial chamber. Funny thing is, they weren't looking for it. The team was tipped off to its presence in 2016 when they noticed cracks in the ground, indicating that dirt was falling into an empty cavity. The scientists subsequently discovered an underground tunnel leading to the royal tomb. It contained the remains of a child who passed away between 8 and 10 years of age, a woman in her mid-30s, and a man between the ages of 40 and 46. The family was decked in skillfully crafted gold and silver jewelry, an obvious symbol of their status, with the adult male wearing a gold necklace and crown. The burial chamber was discovered next to Megiddo's Middle Bronze Age royal palace, another indicator of the family's societal ranking. Additionally, the tomb contained various imported items, including ceramic containers from Cyprus and stone jars possibly from Egypt, according to National Geographic. But scientists don't know who these individuals are. They hope to learn more about their identities and origins through DNA tests. Number 7. 2,200-year-old mosaics. The city of Zeugma, located in Gaziantep, Turkey, was once one of the most important centers of the Eastern Roman Empire. Now it is an enormous treasure trove of archaeological discoveries, with 2,000 to 3,000 houses. Formerly, the city was known as Seleucia, an ancient city and likely a military settlement founded by one of Alexander the Great's commanders. Seleucia was connected to another city, Apamea, by a pontoon bridge. While nothing remains of Apamea, numerous mosaics and other artifacts from Zeugma, which the Romans conquered in 64 AD, survive. The ancient city was pretty obscure until 2000, when the construction of a dam began to flood the city, and soon everyone warned that the place would be lost forever unless something was done. It got a lot of media attention, and luckily, archaeologists were able to get the funding to excavate and rescue whatever they could. One of the most important things were the mosaics. Some of them are extremely large, and they were very well preserved. Dating back 2,200 years ago, most of the city is now under 200 feet of water, but there are still parts that are salvageable. The question is how they were able to survive. Zeugma was a very important city until the fall of the Roman Empire, and then it was sacked by Sassanids from Persia. The villas were destroyed and used to keep animals, and everything fell into decay. It then was forgotten about for about 1,700 years. Mosaics were an important part of a home, and the grandeur and quality of some of these shows the extreme wealth and power that once was. Now, when archaeologists excavate another home, there is always the hope of finding another fantastic mosaic. Number 6. The Stone Age Ghost Clan. The Denisovans, an extinct species or subspecies of early humans, were only discovered around a decade ago, based on a genetic analysis of bone fragments and teeth found in the Denisova cave in Siberia. These prehistoric relatives of ours existed tens of thousands of years ago. They occasionally interbred with both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. But scientists know relatively little about the Denisovans, but are continuously making new breakthroughs and discoveries. Two of the biggest things experts aspire to learn about this ancient hominid species are what they looked like and what they acted like. We can now see that hybridization contributed to our own origins, paleoanthropologist John Hawks said in 2019. That year, new DNA evidence indicated that there were 3 separate lineages of Denisovans, and that they mixed with different human groups throughout Asia. But these findings on their own did not necessarily lead scientists to a picture of what the Denisovans looked like or how they lived. Skull fragments found at Denisova Cave have an unusual thickness that is more like our Homo erectus ancestors than modern humans. On the other hand, a piece of finger bone indicates that the Denisovans had hands and fingers much like ours. So far, all signs point toward them possessing a unique mix of traits, some that were uniquely theirs and others that they perhaps received from those they mixed with, including us. But experts will be disentangling the mysteries of the Denisovans for quite some time to come. Number 5. An empire's collapse. In recent years, a Swiss-Russian team of archaeologists discovered a cemetery containing the remains of who they believe are victims of warfare that brought an ancient nomadic empire to an end. The team spent 4 years excavating a kurgan, or a burial mound, at the site in Russia's Tuva Republic in southern Siberia, and the findings are helping them better understand a little-known time period and people. The kurgan, named Tanug I, was built by the Scythians, a nomadic warrior tribe that once had an extensive influence throughout parts of eastern Eurasia, going as far back as 1100 BC. Some of the burials within the mound date back more recently, to sometime between 100 and 400 AD, and when researchers took a closer look at the skeletons, they were shocked. "I've never worked with a skeletal population characterized by so much violence," archaeologist Marco Malaya told National Geographic. He continued saying, "It wasn't completely surprising at first, but then we found another one, and another one. A lot of these people were exposed to violent interactions, and the evidence was not just on adult males, but also in kids." In a research paper on their grisly findings that was published in the Journal of Physical Anthropology, Malaya and his colleagues describe 100 of the gruesome skeletal injuries, painting a horrifying picture of intense violence among the nomadic steppe societies of the time. They examined the remains of at least 87 individuals, at least 20 of whom displayed signs of bone trauma such as cut marks, holes made by arrowheads and sword tips, and being bludgeoned. The majority of the victims were preteens and adults, but include people of all ages, including an elderly woman. Archaeologist Gino Caspardi explained in a National Geographic interview that the burials likely reflect the rampant and widespread instability and violence that came following the collapse of the region's Xiongnu Empire around 100 AD. The kurgan dates back to a several century-long span that is little understood, but is believed to be marked by extreme political upheaval. The remains there are not from one massacre, but several that occurred over time. In the words of archaeologist Christopher Nussel, this suggests tit-for-tat reprisal violence. In other words, the brutal fighting went on, back and forth, for hundreds of years. Number 4. Who were the Guanches? Spain's Canary Islands were once inhabited by a mysterious civilization of unknown origins called the Guanches, who arrived long before the first Spanish settlers set foot there during the 1470s. Archaeologists and others have long debated over where the Guanches came from, with some speculating that they descended from the Celts or Vikings, and others suggesting that the civilization was somehow connected to the lost city of Atlantis. Thanks to DNA technology, however, experts are closer than ever to figuring out who the Guanches were. The BBC reported last year that a genetic analysis of some of the society's ancient mummies revealed that they were likely Berbers from North Africa. They probably arrived at the islands around 100 AD, or perhaps earlier, were likely ruled by a chief, and engaged in a lifestyle that consisted of both farming and hunting and gathering. But knowing this about the Guanches does not solve all the mysteries surrounding them. For example, researchers still don't know how the civilization reached the Canary Islands, although some think that small boats would have been enough to get the job done. They are also unsure how many Guanche settlers there were, but the study notes that as few as 14 couples could have successfully populated the territory. Number 3. Underground chambers. In May of this year, archaeologists working in Israel announced the rather unexpected discovery of an ancient subterranean complex of chambers carved into the bedrock of the Western Wall Plaza. It's located roughly 120 feet from the Temple Mount and Haram al-Sharif, or the Noble Sanctuary, a site holy to both Jews and Muslims. For the past 1,400 years, the underground set of rooms sat hidden beneath the white mosaic floor of a Byzantine-era building. The complex consists of 2 rooms and a courtyard, which are situated at different depths and connected via carved staircases, and the walls contain niches that likely once served as shelving and storage space. The chambers date back to roughly 2,000 years ago, based on artifacts contained inside. Included among the finds are clay vessels and a large stone basin that is believed to have been used for holding water as part of certain Jewish purity rituals. When the complex was built, it was part of the city's civic center, according to archaeologist Barak Manikendam Given. "We think that the public street passed just a few meters from here," he explained. The site itself, which occupies roughly 35 acres, is an archaeological hotspot, with numerous civilizations including the Babylonians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, Byzantines, and more. But the complex is one of ancient Jerusalem's few surviving remains. Beyond being rare, however, it's shrouded in mystery. Researchers are unsure what the underground room's purpose or purposes was, or why their creator bothered taking the immense time and effort required to carve them out of solid stone. Generally speaking, the only other rock-cut structures in the area dating back to the same era are burials. Archaeologists are equally dumbfounded about the use for the Byzantine-era building that sits above the complex, and they are hoping that further research helps them find the answers they're looking for. Number 2. Unidentified Royal Palace. A discovery hailed as one of the most important of its region also qualifies as one of the area's most mysterious finds. When Iraq experienced a severe drought in mid-2019, the receding waters of the Mosul Dam Reservoir alerted a German and Kurdish team of archaeologists to the presence of a 3,400-year-old palace. The surprising structure was built by the Mitanni Empire, which is largely considered one of the least understood ancient civilizations. In response to the discovery, the team began an emergency excavation to save the ruins before the reservoir's waters returned to normal levels. This was especially important, considering the palace is among just a handful of ruins that have ever been uncovered from the Mitanni Empire. Even the capital of the Mitanni Empire has not been identified, archaeologist Ivana Poljic told DW.com. The team worked against the clock and against rising waters, taking record of and salvaging what they could. Researchers plan to try interpreting 10 cuneiform tablets that were found at the site. Also included among the discoveries were bright blue and red wall paints, which experts believe were customarily used in palaces throughout the ancient Near East. Number 1. Elixir of Immortality. In early 2019, archaeologists discovered a strange yellowish liquid while examining a several thousand-year-old ancient Chinese pot. The pot and the contents in question, which dates back to the Western Han Dynasty, was discovered in China's Henan province in late 2018. It was found within a spacious 2,260 square foot burial chamber in the city of Luoyang. Scientists concluded that the mixture is a long-fabled immortality elixir of Chinese legend. The liquid smelled like wine, leading the team to initially think they had discovered liquor, perhaps rice wine. But subsequent testing proved otherwise, as the substance proved to be made up of potassium nitrate and alunite. These ingredients are customary for a longevity elixir, according to experts, which typically consisted of substances that we know today are incredibly dangerous to consume. But this was the first time archaeologists found an actual example of one. Ironically, in the past, people believed that consuming these potentially fatal potions gave them eternal life. Although it's unknown whether anyone consumed the liquid found in the pot in Henan province, it offers valuable insight into our understanding of the region's past. The liquid is of significant value for the study of ancient Chinese thoughts on achieving immortality and the evolution of Chinese civilization. Shi Jiazhen, head of the Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology, told Xinhua News. Numerous other artifacts were found at the site, including painted clay pots, a goose-shaped lamp, and the remains of the individual who was laid to rest inside the tomb. Thanks for watching! Would you dare to taste the mysterious liquid from the ancient Chinese pot? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!